Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Are you an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur building a brand in today's very crowded marketplace? How do you stand out? Join me on September 27th and share 97 minutes of your time for just $97 and learn how to empower your brand message and shine as a guest on podcasts. iHeart's doing it. Spotify's doing it. You should do it too. Join me and spend 97 minutes of your time for just $97. You can find the registry link in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is the lovely Laura Lake. She is a courageous connection coach, a #1 international best-selling author, a mental health advocate, and a speaker. Welcome, Laura. How are you today?
I'm going to laugh a little because just before we came on live, I was like, oh, Brad, that is a loaded question this week, which we'll chat more about later. But yes, some of it might actually come up in our conversation today.
Happy Tuesday. I am so happy and honored and excited to have you here and finally jump in and have this conversation. We've been trying to get this done for quite some time. So it's lovely.
I think it's been almost 2 years.
Yeah. Something like that. It's been pretty close to that. So it's lovely to finally have you here. So with that being said, let's dive in and start our beautiful conversation that I know we will be having. I'm curious, how long have you been a courageous connection coach, and how did you come up with a name or label for that and the work you do?
Ooh, okay. So really, the intention behind what I do has just always been a thread. It's always been there. But it built up to that label of courageous connection probably 2.5 years ago now. I was part of an online Facebook community, like many of us are.
Yep.
This one was specifically for entrepreneurs who are also speakers and coaches. So they did like a 5-day challenge, which basically was talking about your identity, your passions, like how do you want to show up in this 5-day challenge? So through that exploration, after so many years of what is a better title? What is a better title? It hit me that the words that I was using to describe the types of feelings and the types of outcomes that I wanted from people were this idea of I need entrepreneurs, of course, including myself, to become more courageous, because helping others actually requires a lot of self-awareness for ourselves when you are the mess to message style solopreneur. So like you've been through some sort of struggle, and that's now why you help people in the way that you help people, is because it's personal for you. Looking back on that and loving that and having insight on that requires a lot of courage. So I was like, oh, okay, that's why I keep talking about courage. Got it. The connection piece actually stems from my story. So I talk a lot about emotions and I talk a lot about mental health because we're entrepreneurs. Many of us got into it because of issues that we've had, where this is just where we feel more comfortable. We have that freedom and that creativity. So the connection piece was around what I call my emotional thread.
Okay.
So the emotional thread, we can talk in more detail later. But basically what it is, it's identifying the emotions that you had before that you didn't want, that are uncomfortable and you're trying to push away, as well as the emotions that you do want, that you're moving toward. And so what I was really moving toward in my emotional journey is connection, because my struggle emotion is rejection. I was like, that is a continuous pattern in my life. And the stories that I bring up in business always tend to hit on that rejection and me seeking connection. And so all of the skills that I've learned and all of my renditions, and every time I'm changing these titles, it always has to do with me building greater connection with myself and my audience.
I love it. That is beautiful. And when we talk about connection, especially as entrepreneurs, we need that. We cannot do this thing called entrepreneurship or life for that matter alone. We have to do it in connection, in community, we have to have that support around us in order to flourish and grow. So I love that. It's very appropriate. Amazing.
It is. It's just, the name really hit when I was having a one-on-one with one of the co-hosts of the 5-day challenge. It just happened to be, I think, a 15-minute coaching session or something to talk about how's your week going. And when the words came up in our conversation, I immediately knew that is what I now have to call myself. Because I used to call myself a mental health for high performance coach.
Okay.
And as soon as people heard those words, mental health, they just shied away. And they're like, oh, that's going to be hard and difficult. I don't want to talk about it. So I like
people do shy away, and that we'll talk about mental health a little bit later in the conversation. What does courage mean to you? Not only in the context of building connections, but also in general.
There are so many layers to courage. So as a solopreneur, courage to me means what we hit on earlier. Like, I've been through a struggle story, some sort of mess, and this is why I do the work that I do. Courage in that realm means that I have to be aware of and love that old version of me who was in the middle of that struggle. Courage means looking at her and being able to still love, appreciate, and be around her. That's hard. Any sort of internal work, any sort of self-development and self-awareness can be really uncomfortable. It's difficult. It's scary. The only way that we have courage is if there's some sort of fear, if there's something that is causing tension for us. Otherwise, it's not courageous. It's just something that we're doing. So courage is like this lovely unfolding of a relationship with fear. So one of the projects that I'm working on is actually a cross-Canada event called the Facing Your Fears Festival, which we really want to hone in on that relationship with fear. Saying it's not the bad guy. We don't need to fight it. There's no battle there. How can we shift our relationship with fear so that we can lean into courage, which is really just being able to look at ourselves and to overcome, to, I guess I want to use the word transmute that energy from fear into excitement, into empowerment, which is what you talk about so much here in the podcast and the work that you do.
It's funny. There's another F word that I think we need to change the relationship with, and that's failure.
Yes.
Right. I had a woman on a while back now, and her TEDx talk was all about making friends with failure. Oh, and it is brilliant. And the way she looks at it is, this is great, because failure is part of the journey. It's okay to fail. It's not a bad thing to fail. Failure is not a bad word. It's a good thing, because that's how we learn. That's how we grow. And the same thing with fear. I think it's good. And I've talked about this a few times with a few different people. I think it's good to have, going back to the fear piece of it, I think it's good to have a bit of fear in our lives as well, because I think that helps to keep us grounded. And when I talk about fear for me specifically, I always go back to photo shoots. I've been shooting since I was 17 years old. I'm 54. I've been shooting for a long time, and I still get nervous and have that bit of fear before a photo shoot. After all these years, it's still, I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach. And I was talking to a friend about it a couple of years back, and she said, you know what, Brad? She said, that's a good thing that you have that, because that keeps you grounded. It keeps you from getting too overconfident. It's good that you have a little bit of fear. Now, when we get to the other side where some people have crippling fear, no, that's not a good thing. Yeah. And that's where we need to do the work, is when it's that crippling fear where it stops us from doing what we want to do or what we need to do, or whatever the case is. But I think it's good to have a bit of fear in our lives, because it keeps you level. It keeps you from getting too overconfident, too cocky. Like, I think if I walked into a photo shoot, I got this, I don't have to worry about anything. No, that's not a good thing to be that overconfident. It's good to have that bit of fear, I think, always, a little bit. But the failure thing too is great.
Yeah, let's just hit on fear just a little bit more. Like, what is fear, so that people from any kind of walk of life understand why we talk about it in this way. So fear, its job, its purpose is to stop us in the moment and say, hey, let's have some protection here for survival, which is the piece everybody talks about. But the other piece of fear is its ability to help us adapt. So protection and adaptation or adaptability, right? So this is the relationship that we want to shift with fears. Can we not just focus on this, oh my God, protection, hide, but also go, fear and every emotion is a form of communication. What is it telling me? It's telling me this is not good for me. What do we need to change, adapt, shift, pivot, that horrible P word.
Yes, I cannot stand that word.
Come over here to have something better. And that's why I want to transmute fear into excitement. Physically, physiologically, it's the same kind of symptoms.
It is. It is because it is excitement. It is. It's just a different version of excitement. Yeah. It's
every time I have a conversation with cool people like you, I don't know where this is going to go. There's a lot of unknown here, but yet I know that this is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you for clarifying and thank you for sharing that. I think it is a very important topic, especially for entrepreneurs to talk about fear and courage and all of these things. Yes. So thank you for that. How do you help individuals overcome their fears and barriers to authentic connection?
Let's start with the authentic piece. One of our biggest fears, and of course I spoke about this earlier, is rejection. It really does go back to that tribal mindset of, if I didn't belong in this tribe, if you were kicked out of the tribe for any sort of reason, usually it meant death. Yeah. Because hunting on your own was difficult. Gathering on your own was difficult. Like just surviving the cold. You didn't have all of the skills of everybody in your tribe. So being on your own was very rare for you to survive. And usually it meant death. So this is why we still have this sense of we need to belong. We need to fit in. But really, when I look at a human being, especially when we're on video like this, I try to look at the camera, but I go back and forth between your eyes because I like to see you at the same time. Every human being has this default of who they are. We like to use the word authentic, right? But that version of us is under the metaphorical masks, under the metaphorical armor, behind all of these filters. And when I look in somebody's eyes, I have this ability to read who they are. Usually I tell them about their personality because that's something that most people understand. But when I can have that conversation and I can see who Brad is behind what he's just trying to put a show on for, then I can see more of the authentic, default, badass version of Brad that even sometimes Brad doesn't see because whatever happened in your life.
Yeah.
So then the question is, how can we uncover more of that? We don't need to find it. It's not lost. It's there. But how can we uncover and defilter, mask, undress the armor? Yeah. That's really the job of what I do. So when I see people and I see their eyes and I read their eyes, it's not always my job to call out their fears, but it is my job to help them look within themselves in a supportive environment to see those fears themselves when they're ready. Not everybody's ready for everything that I see.
Very true. Even
for myself, there's probably this 6-year window, grade 3 to grade 8, so a 5-year window. I have barely any memories. There's a few things that stand out, but I have memories since I was 2. Okay. So it's not like I just forgot my childhood. No, there's this little window between grade 3 and grade 8 that I don't remember a whole lot because of my mental health, because there was things that happened that I guess I'm not ready for yet.
Yeah.
And the more self-work that I do, it's like an onion. The more layers come off the top, the less pressure there is for the layers underneath. So they can finally unfold themselves and breathe. Yes. Love it. My husband calls it the exhale, that feeling, right? You can just, you can feel things loosening up and opening up. Yeah.
A relief.
It is such a relief. So really that's my work, is to look at the human being and help the human being see themselves the way that I see them and to uncover who they are.
Love it.
The tools that I use right now are storytelling, but there's so many other tools that we've learned along the way. Like Brad, you're not just a podcaster. You're not just a photographer. What are the 50 other skills that you've learned over the last 10 years?
Yeah, true. We are not just these things. We are so much more than that. I love it. That is beautiful work you're doing, Laura. Truly.
What? And you know what?
Yeah.
On top of that, it makes me feel seen because I live in this world where we all do. We all live in this world where people are at least so anxious and so stressed right now that they have these blinders on and they're so focused in their own life that they forget that they need to see other people. And we're becoming more and more disconnected. COVID helped us see a little of that, but I've been feeling it for most of my life. I'm a giver. Yeah. And because of my own rejection stories, I do still, after all these years, have difficulty like leaning into the depth of what intimate relationships are. And I don't just mean romantic, friendship, business, everything. This is why I talk about it.
It's funny, the more advancements we have in technology, the more technology we get, it's almost like the more disconnected we become. When you would think it'd be the opposite, it would bring us more connection. But I think it's driving us away from connection to disconnection from one another. But again, I think that also speaks to, it depends on your it depends on your community, it depends on who you surround yourself with. All of these things are factors. But when you look at the overall or overarching thing, the overarching picture, it's like the more we get, the more devices we get, the more technology advances, the more disconnected we become.
Technology helps to put the people together. It's still up to the people how we choose to use that.
For sure.
We have a lot more surface level connections, which aren't very deep. I like to describe it as like a mesh wall or maybe a brick wall. There's not a whole lot to grab onto. So any sort of gust of wind or any sort of issues that happen, we tend to fall off. And that's what's happening a lot. Whereas before, you had to travel a long distance to go see somebody. You had to put in a lot of effort to make connections with people. And so when you did make the connection, it tended generally to be a much deeper connection because the effort was put in.
Yeah.
We're opening up more in different ways. And this is where that conversation of vulnerability comes in too.
Absolutely.
Like online, it's so easy to just.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, because you're hiding behind a screen. So, yeah, of course it's easier, 100%. But there's still a lot of people that struggle with even that, with putting themselves out there online and connecting online. So it just depends on where you are in your journey.
Oh, yeah. And it's a skill. We can all learn it.
For sure.
What am I watching now? Oh, I'm actually watching Glamorous on Netflix. I don't know why. I just clicked on like the next thing. I was like, whatever. Yeah. It had something to do with business and I like the subtleties behind the storyline. So anyway, I'm watching this and there's a lot of people in the show that are talking about relationships and connection, which I'm enjoying because there's the main story, but then of course all the subtleties. And there was a few main characters who were having issues exactly like that. I want deep connections, but I'm not opening up. I don't know how to open up. There's this digital world, which makes it easy in this way, but it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we don't practice all of those other deeper ways. You helped me see a few things about myself too.
That's a good thing. Like, that's a very good thing.
Being shown on TV.
What has being a courageous connection coach and working with clients taught you about the importance of courage and the importance of connection?
I will say that I have almost died 7 times so far. And yeah, there's 20 honorable mentions, but 7 serious times of me almost dying. So this work of helping especially solopreneurs to courageously connect with their audience as well as themselves ties a lot in with all of those times I almost died. We seek happiness. We seek that connection because happiness is connection. It's just framed differently. Happiness requires relationships. It requires vulnerability. It requires all these things that sound like they're easy and they're not. So every time that I was faced with death, many of them were not my choice. Accidents happen. But the 5th time that I almost died, it was my choice. And I'm not going to get super deep because I don't know how general your audience is. And that's more of a niche conversation. But what I will say is that was actually a milestone moment for me. Because in the depth of it all, what I realized was I had rejected myself first. And that's not a light switch. That doesn't happen on the fly. You can't just snap your fingers.
Yeah.
It slowly starts to happen. And so now that I look back on it, I have the awareness of, oh, I see where I went wrong. I see how things were slowly declining. But in the moment, I didn't notice that at all. I forgot what your original question was.
That happens all the time.
Or something else. I'm like, oh,
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
What has working with your clients taught you about the importance of courage and the importance of connection?
Okay. So really it's not just the survival, but what does it mean for me to thrive? What does it mean for me to be authentic? What does it mean for me to express my journey toward happiness and choosing happiness every day? I like to explain that emotions are just like, think of them as a physical stance. If I do this, I'm just going to move my hot chocolate out of the way. If I do this and I tell you, I love you, Brad.
Yeah.
You believe me?
No, because you're ready. It looks like you're ready to fight.
You know me. I'm super friendly, but I'm in this physical stance. Okay.
No, I don't.
So it's, let's say I'm in fear or shame or guilt, which we all feel and we tend to hide. Yep. And then we say the things that we think we're supposed to say. So we go from the shame, the guilt. I don't know. This is a fighting stance. Maybe I'm in anger. Okay. I'm in anger. I love you, Brad. It doesn't feel the same.
No.
But if I do this, I go,
yes, you're welcoming me in. I
can say it in the same tone. I can give you the same smile and you can feel the difference. So it's the same thing. If I'm learning about courage and I learn with every single person that I work with, because every single person I work with holds up a mirror of a different part of me that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like I got a tattoo on my back. I can't see it without a mirror.
Right.
Like there's no way it's not happening. But this is what clients and friends and family, hopefully, is for.
Yeah.
Just to help us see all of that part of ourselves. So I get to learn about my own darkness, but also about my own light. And when you're so used to giving and being surrounded by people who need the giving, when is it my time? And so receiving has always been difficult for me. What I learned the most was I've been on the dark side. I've been in the low moments. I've almost left this earth sometimes or more, a lot. And yet my clients have taught me to receive more. They've taught me to be even more courageous in other areas of my life, and that I'm valuable in my beingness without ever having to help them. It makes me want to cry because that's beautiful and it's something that I'm still learning.
Receiving is a hard thing to learn, especially when you're a giver and you're always giving. But a friend of mine, when I was in Vegas in October, pointed this out. We were having a conversation about receiving and giving, and we were talking about it. And she said to me, she said, Brad, I know you're a giver, but if you don't learn to receive, that breaks the cycle.
It does.
You have to learn to receive. So that's something I've been working on since that conversation in October, is learning to receive, whether it be compliments, kind words, or help, or whatever it is. Yeah. It's a tough thing to learn to do, and it takes constant work. You have to continually work on it. But
I never knew that I was hurting people, because I hate to hurt people.
And that's right? It.
I never knew I was hurting when I wasn't expecting gifts. I had a friend of mine. He knew that I was in a bad place, and he had texted me one day. You were the most beautiful and intelligent person I have ever met. And the first thing I sent him was, that's not possible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 3 days later, he didn't respond. And that's not like him. And 3 days later, I realized, I just told him that his opinions and his truth and the way that he sees me is wrong. He was trying to give me a gift in a time that I needed it, and he needed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a stupid gift. And then just threw it away.
In the trash. Yeah.
I felt so bad that I texted him back. I was like, I get it now.
I see what I did. That's exactly what you're doing. You're cutting people off from being kind to you. You're basically spitting in their face, saying, that doesn't mean shit to me.
So then what if, let's just go the other way. What if, Brad, you held the door open for somebody and they were like, excuse you, slammed the door and then opened the door themselves? What? This doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody do that?
It's funny you say that because my wife was telling me about a time where I don't know where she was out somewhere, and she held the door open for a gentleman. He says, I don't need you to fucking hold the door open for me.
I do it to everybody. What? If you're within 10 feet, I'm holding that door.
Yes, of course. Because that's just the thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. I don't know. We could go off on a whole other tangent.
I know.
And I think this all ties into being a good human. Being a good person, right? And I think there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from learning how to be a good human. There needs to be a course taught in how to be a good human.
Can we do just a little practice with our audience right now?
Sure.
Does this ever come out in video? I hope it does.
I cut up clips and I put them out.
Okay, good. So this is going to be one of our clips. I need you to look at the camera because we're going to look into the souls of people watching and listening to this, okay? Something that I learned in one of my open meditation nights. We had so many different practices from so many different religions and viewpoints. It was wonderful. We learned so much. One of the things that was really difficult was in person, and we're going to try to do this over Zoom or
Zencast.
Whatever this is, I'm learning.
Zencast.
Just pretend that you're putting your hand on my heart, okay? And I'm going to pretend that I'm putting my hand on your heart. And we're going to look right into the camera, which is pretending we're looking in each other's eyes.
Yeah.
But in person, you would look right into the person's eyes. And you go, I'm going to say it, and I want you to repeat it back to me. So, all that I am sees all that you are.
All that I am sees all that you are.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
Good. Now we're going to do it again, but I'm going to look at your eyes in the camera, like your actual face. And then you just take this in for a second, Brad. All that I am sees all that you are. I love you. I love you. I love you. Now that you're looking at the picture of me, how did that feel?
Amazing.
Warm. Exactly. So can you do that to the camera so that everybody can look at you and I'll feel that and I'll look in your eyes.
All that I am.
No, you look in the camera.
Oh, in the camera. Okay.
Yeah, in the camera so that I can look in your eyes and it's as if you're looking at me.
All that I am sees all that you are. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Oh, it makes me want to cry. That practice in person to have both people having eye contact for that long was very uncomfortable. I think there was one person in the room that didn't cry. Powerful. How often do we get even that form of intimacy? That takes great courage. And when we look in somebody's eyes, as I mentioned earlier, it's like a window to the soul.
Yep.
But I like to describe the way that I see it as like this bowl of puzzle pieces that's just thrown on the table in front of me. And I have to put the puzzle pieces together. I get the frame, I get some little pictures that look like they match. And that's how I kind of piece together what I see. But some things are as easy as you're wearing this tan colored sweater. That's that feeling that you get when you see somebody and you just have that intuitive or that gut feeling. It's like you can't help but see some things and other things take a little bit more effort.
For sure. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for that little exercise. That was brilliant. Yeah. So speaking of, you had mentioned that you almost died 7 times. Yeah. What has been one of your most valuable lessons or biggest takeaways from those experiences, having gone through that? And what is one piece of advice you'd like to share with the audience about what you've learned?
Ooh. The biggest thing that I need to still to this day tell myself is I'm going to look at the camera, okay? I'm going to say me and then I'm going to do it to you. What I say to myself is, I look in the mirror and I go, I need to choose me. I choose me. So for audience and for you, Brad, choose you. You need to constantly make the commitment, the decision, the devotion to choose you. And that does have a lot to do with receiving. So in my deepest moments, we talked about how I didn't see it coming, right?
Yeah.
What really happened was my identity and all the roles that I played, right? That's just a portion of our identity. Changed so much in the course of 2 months that I didn't know who I was anymore. There was nothing to ground me. And so I started disconnecting from myself. I started rejecting myself before I gave myself space to go, there's something next. Like there's a new chapter for me, but I wasn't even open to that. I was too busy looking at all the other chapters and all my past life and my past identity, my past roles and my past value in my giving. And I'm like, who am I now?
Shrinking violet.
Right? So I have to constantly remind myself that even if that happens again, and it has, patterns of emotion, our emotional threads happen over and over.
Yeah.
They just happen less and less as we learn more and more.
That's right.
So even though we're experts in things, doesn't mean that we're immune to whatever it is that we teach. So I looked at myself each time I was in that hiding mode, right? And I had to remind myself, if I don't love me, other people find it difficult to love me because they have no framework to love me the way that I need to be loved. If I don't appreciate me, if I don't accept me, if I don't celebrate me, fill in whatever word and whatever desires you have. If I don't start trying to fill those needs myself, other people don't know how to fill them the way that you enjoy it. Also, let's go back to Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Eeyore is a wonderful stuffed animal. Everybody loves Eeyore, but he can be difficult to be around if somebody else is having a bad day too. We all get that. Depression happens. But really what we're doing is we're trying to find that space to look after ourselves so that we can be with other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also got very little sleep last night trying to do everything that needed to happen before today.
Absolutely everything starts here within us. We are the foundation for all of it. Yeah. And we need to do that work on ourselves. We need to learn to love ourselves, to nurture ourselves, to care for ourselves. And someone explained to me, we're talking about self-care and self-love and how we've been conditioned to believe that's selfish. And they explained it. They said, look at an English cup and saucer, right? Pour the tea in. Said you pour the tea in, the cup overflows, and the stuff that goes into the saucer catches it. That's what you have to give to others. That overflow. The other stuff you keep for you. That's filling your cup. But the overflow is here. This is what I have. So you always keep your cup overflowing because that allows you to give to others, to share, to give that, right? It's a brilliant analogy. I love it. It is so true. We have to learn to fill our own cups first, because if you don't, if your cup is half full, if it's a quarter full, you don't have the space to give to others. And really, when you think about it, part of why we're here is to be in and of service to one another.
Yes.
That's your duty. That's your job, right? Now, not everyone sees it that way, but I'd like to think that most people do. And
some sort of contribution, some sort of like elevation and amplification of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if your cup isn't full or it isn't half, whatever it is, you're not going to be able to. So you need to do that first before you can be in and of service to another person.
And I find this is where a lot of, especially solopreneurs, get caught. I'm very idealistic. I was like, here's how the world could be.
Yeah.
And I get so excited and so passionate about it. But there are times like the last month or so where I didn't meet my own needs. I was too busy giving, not enough receiving, not enough self-care to be able to hold myself in a good place, let alone try to do all of the other things. So to be real with you, I've spent the last month basically on the couch because of health issues. There's a lot of things going on. And what I really needed to focus on was just to minimize pain. And then beyond that, how can I come out of the burnout and the overwhelm by really de-stressing? And I don't just mean mentally. De-stressing means physically, spiritually, all of it.
All of it, yeah.
Okay? It got to the point where I could gain 4 inches in my body in one day because of inflammation. I gained 10 inches in 2 weeks of inflammation and then lost 4 inches in a day. So this is where my body and my mind is at. There's potential for surgery. I've got an x-ray, and then we're working our way up to an MRI. There's lots of stuff going on physically that I was to the point where I tried to push through. 1 or 2 things is easy to push through. It's just 1 or 2 things. We can find a workaround. I'm resourceful.
Yeah.
But when many things happen at once, which is what happens when we don't fill our cup and have enough resources to deal with it, then we tend to crash and burn.
Absolutely.
And one of my addictions, my emotional addictions, is chaos, because it's what I've always known. That's how I've always thrived. And so now that things aren't as chaotic, like last year moving 4 times in 5 months, I'm still like, well, where's the chaos? Where's the chaos?
It's almost like you miss it. Yeah, you miss it. You crave it because
I'm in
it's
that headspace of like, I need familiarity to feel safe, but familiarity is something that's unhealthy, which is the chaos. Mm-hmm. Then all of that was like burnout, and my body felt it, and my mind felt it, my spirit felt it, which has forced me into its decision, not mine, which is the other part of courage, right? I don't want to use the word control, but taking ownership of your life and your choices and your direction. It's taking ownership of the 4 ways that we fail: our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, and beliefs, because they're also our 4 ways of succeeding, right? So it's like, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? What were the actions that I was taking because of my thoughts and feelings? And then what beliefs happened because of my consistent actions on my thoughts and feelings that has spiraled me down into that burnout and overwhelm. It takes courage to see every single part on that path. There are milestones, and I just was ignoring every single one of them because I was too busy giving and not filling my cup. So now life is, you have to, and I'm working on that. So this conversation with you, and I had a conversation with Jenny a couple weeks ago, which I think I need to connect you with.
Okay.
She's also a wonderful podcaster. Just, oh my God, you guys would have so much fun. That I just need to get back into the things that bring me joy. So in all of those 7 times that I almost died, especially the 5th one where it was my choice, one of the biggest things that helped to pull me out was to focus on, if that's what I don't want, what is it that I do want to feel? If I don't want to feel rejected and I don't want to feel disconnected and all of that grossness, what do I want to feel? I want to feel that love. I want to feel that joy. Okay. What brings me joy in the next 5 minutes? Not tomorrow, not 5 years, next 5 minutes. Does that mean drinking a cup of hot chocolate that's lactose free and that's delicious? Does that mean going for a walk? And even on my dark days, like, it took all the courage I could muster just to get out of bed and brush my hair. It took all of my energy just to take a shower, right? So those goals on those days weren't, let's change the world.
Yeah.
You know, like, can I brush my hair today? I actually had a really good friend at the time after my last PTSD back in 2017, 2018. He knew it had happened. And so he texted me every morning. Did you get up yet? Did you get dressed yet? Did you brush your hair? And I would say no. And I had my daughter was there and she was doing her own thing in the kitchen and stuff. I think she was probably 8 or so at the time. Yeah, 8. And he's, okay, so I'll be there in 10 minutes. And if you're still not dressed, I get to see you naked. So of course that got me out of bed, got me dressed.
Yeah.
Then he would take me to the beach. He would take me to the library. Like, me and my daughters are friends. So I was so lucky to have somebody like that in one of my biggest moments of need to just get me doing something.
Get you outside of yourself.
Anything that brought me some little fragment of joy and a little bit of fear, but a fragment of joy to just keep me moving forward. And that's what courage is. There's tension here, whether it's a mountain or a molehill. How do I just keep moving forward? And it's not moving forward toward the fear, because if we're focusing on that's the direction we're going. But if we're focusing on the things that we desire, that we want to move toward, then just take the tiniest step toward it. Tiniest step. What does that look like? Great. Keep going. Just keep going. Yeah. Just swimming.
Put one foot in front of the other.
Yep, exactly.
That's all it takes. Don't look at the whole staircase, because that's when overwhelm sets in. That's something I always think about, is look at one step at a time. You can only do one thing at a time. Yeah. One step, then the next step, then the next step. Because if you stand back and you look at the whole staircase, oh, fuck, this is too much, right? So it's one step at a time, and celebrate each one of those steps.
When I got back on my bike after my bicycle accident, which was the 6th time I almost died, it was really hard.
I'm sure.
Just to do the movement, let alone any sort of pressure on my knee. So when I finally got back into biking, and I knew that I had to get back on, you can't just stop. So when I got back on and I was going up my first like little tiny hill, I'd see a rock that was 3 feet in front of me, and I'm like, just keep going. I just need to get to that rock. I just need to get to that rock. And then I'd get to the rock, and then I'd pick another rock about 3 or 4, maybe 5 feet in front of me. I just need to get to that rock. I just need to get to And I kept doing that over and over until I got to the point where I was, one, either at the top of the hill. Oh my God, thank God. Or two, I really couldn't physically do it anymore. And the bike was going to fall over. I was going so slow. So that was more dangerous than me pushing.
Yeah,
through.
for
It's
sure.
Like, you got to get off. You can't just keep going. So it's like one of those two things happened.
Absolutely.
Yes, keep moving. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep moving. Like you said, it could be the tiniest little step. It doesn't matter. That's a step forward. And that's what you need to do.
And then you get better next time.
That's right. And better. And it keeps improving. What advice would you give to someone who is struggling to step into their courage and build meaningful connections in their life?
Okay, this one is really fun because it really does bring in what I said at the beginning of the Facing Your Fears Festival. So really what the plan is for that is it's going to be across Canada, hopefully in-person event as much as possible. We're going to celebrate the end of it in Edmonton sometime next year. I need to find a place, a physical place to hold it. But the idea is we have shied away from fear so much over the last few generations. It's become so little that the tiniest thing, which used to be a pebble on a road with a car driving over it, has now become this huge mountain that nobody knows how to get across or over. So then what I want and what I'm getting people to practice here is how can we look at fear, as we said earlier, shift our relationship with fear, understand it's just communication. It's got something to tell us. Let's learn from that. Let's adapt in the way that it wants us to, transmute that energy into excitement and use that to overcome the initial friction and create some inertia and momentum to get over that little hump. So it requires daily practice. And as we just said, it could be the tiniest thing. So one of the speeches that I was writing last night for Story Slam Halifax, it was talking about, okay, if I asked you, Brad, right now, and anybody listening, what is one of your fears? Do you think that red nail polish would be on your list?
No.
Okay. Because there was a time when I was so scared of putting on red nail polish because I thought like it was the boldest thing I could possibly do. And I didn't want to be seen. I wanted to hide. That was the phase of my life. I remember painting my nails red. And I think I only got one hand done. I don't even know if I did two. But I painted one hand with bright red nail polish. I still have it. And I looked at my hand and I bawled like a baby. And I think I only wore it for about 5 minutes before I took it off.
Wow.
So I even remember the first time that I sent a mass email for my business. It took me an hour to press that send button. I just stared at my screen like, do I do it? I don't know. And then I'd go and I'd get distraction food and I'd like go use the bathroom and go pet a cat and come back. And I'm like, I should do it. This is going to be helpful. I should do it. It took me an hour. But when I finally hit the enter button to send the email, I had this little monkey hand going, yeah, you did it. And I felt so good. But if we're letting little things like that stop us from not even doing anything that's going to hurt or help anybody, what kinds of things are we letting us stop us from doing things that are helping people, that help us, that make us healthier too? So if I didn't send that email, who would have known about me? Who would have contacted me? How would I have gotten a couple of clients that I had gotten? If you're not saying the message that is in your heart that helps that old version of you that we were talking about earlier, how are people like that resemble and relate to that version of you? How do they find answers from somebody that connects with them the way that they need to connect, right? This is where that personalization comes in so much. Yeah. And when I do interviews for Blue Talks, and I had you on, which I loved, it was like, who is Brad? Not just what does Brad do? How can Brad help me do the thing that I need to do? No, who is Brad? Cool, he's got all these skills, but I want to know Brad. Because then anytime I have any sort of idea, who is it that I think of? Who is it that I want to share this with? Who is it that I want to look to help refer me to somebody else? It's Brad. That's a connection. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. What are some common misconceptions about connection that you encounter in your coaching practice, and how do you challenge them?
A lot of times when I say the word connection, people do go on that more romantic side of connection, especially when I use the word intimacy, because they're like, oh, romance. No. But there are so many bridges and ideas and concepts between, let's just go full out, like a sexual relationship versus a business relationship.
Yeah.
You know, those random DMs you get from people that are like, hi, I'm so-and-so. You should buy my stuff.
Yeah.
I like to call that the, hi, nice to meet you. Marry me? No, thank you. Like, I don't even know your name. I don't know anything about you. I'm not committing. No, I'm good. Like, maybe a hello.
Sure.
Or I like your hair or something like that to start, and which would translate to, I loved your post. Or maybe somebody saying, oh, wait, the way that you walked through that garden and you just touched I'm making fun of a friend of mine right now. And he knows it. I make fun of him all the time for it. And you were touching the flowers and just gently smelling the flowers. Like, that was adorable.
Yeah.
And if you translate that into business, that could be like, I saw that video that you did where you shared a story about this. I really related to that piece. And wow, like, I never thought that was a thing for me. And I guess it is. This is what I'm talking about. Like, in our content, in our conversations, in our connections, how do you tease somebody? How do you entice them? How do you get their attention? How do you flirt with them? How do you communicate with them? There's so many parallels. And this is why I wanted to connect you with Jenny, because this is what she talks about. Yeah. So in my business, when I talk about connection, there is a lot of that romantic side of things. And I'm like, really, I think of connection, as we said earlier, that wall. Like, what is something that you can grab onto so that, sometimes I imagine this big mountain and it's an obstacle course. People are there to teach you how to climb a ladder, how to jump over a 3-foot gap, how to maneuver through a mirror wall, whatever it happens to be. But if you're doing any sort of climbing or something that requires other people, there needs to be that touch. There needs to be that something to grab onto. Yeah. And what connection is, it's making those openings that you can connect. If they're too small, I can't get my fingers in there. No. Even if I wear like climbing shoes with the little claws, I can't get them in there either. What is it that you are giving me in our communication and in who you are as a human being that I can relate to, which is grabbing on, okay? That I can take it with me. That's part of happiness and sharing as well in relationships, is it requires some sort of transportation and sharing of experience.
Brilliant. I love it. Amazing.
Let me grab.
Awesome.
It doesn't mean just listening. Like, I'm making little grabby things with my hand, trying to grab the air.
Beautiful analogy, beautiful explanation. Thank you for sharing that. Now, as mentioned off the top, Laura, you are a #1 international best-selling author. I want to speak a little bit about that journey of yours, becoming an author. First of all, was writing something that was always part of your path and who you were? And when did you first start writing? And secondly, can you tell us about what you wrote? Was it a solo book? Was it a collaborative book? Contributing author? All of those things.
So when I was really young, I was given a diary. And most little girls are like, oh, a diary, I'm going to write everything in it. I wrote, this is a diary. I went to so-and-so's birthday. It was great. 6 months later, I talked about going to the park. I was not a journaler. I did not diary. That was not a thing. What I did do when I was a little bit older and could write a little better was I love to express myself through music and poetry. So I would write a little bit of poetry because we were learning about it in school. But then I would also write song lyrics. I would just make up music in my head, or I would just put down whatever I could and try to make it rhyme on a piece of paper. And I would have these random pieces of paper with just song lyrics on it. Most of them are gone. I still have one about my brother, though, which I have in a drawer here somewhere. Later, I started to explore short stories because we were doing that in class. And while fun, that wasn't quite my thing. I didn't like creating make-believe. I loved reading make-believe, but I would prefer to act out make-believe than to write make-believe. So then I just started writing just a few real things, just a few, like notes back and forth to friends, stories back and forth to friends that were true. But then I remember specifically in high school, I'm pretty sure it was grade 9, maybe grade 10. I put in I think it was a summary of a Nancy Drew book, because I only read Archie comics and Nancy Drew books. That was about it back in elementary school and high school. And on my paper, I get this paper back, and in red pen at the top, it says, "You'll never be a writer." Wow. And I remember looking at it and my heart just sinking. I never thought about being a writer, but to have her write that on my paper, it cut off this whole version of me that I never even thought to explore. So for years, I thought I couldn't write. Then I met Corey. Then I died almost 7 times. Then, like, life happens.
Yeah.
I finally had something that I wanted to share, and I didn't know how to share it. So then I tried, oh my God, my very first time on stage. My family didn't even know about my bicycle accident at this point. Just like my husband, our parents, the doctors, that was about it, because they needed to be involved. Right. Nobody else in my family knew. And I decided it would be a wonderful time to get up on stage in front of a bunch of strangers for my very first professional talk, to talk about the thing that made me the most uncomfortable, which was my PTSD and the bicycle accident. I bawled on stage.
I'm sure.
It was like my biggest idea of a rejection moment as a speaker happened the first time I was on stage. Thought my business was over before it even got started. But the only thing that I got from the audience was love and hugs. I think there was 3 people that didn't give me a hug afterwards. But that was a lesson that said, this is a story that has to be shared. Not the was me, this is what happened, but here's what I learned from this experience and why the bicycle accident was the best thing that had ever happened to me. So then Corey comes and he's, I'm doing this compilation book. And I'm thinking, I'm not a writer. So he offers me to be in the book, and I choose to write about the bicycle accident and why I started my business. Of course, if you've ever written anything that's personal, you know how deep you need to go and how much crap comes out when you do. I healed so much by writing a chapter in his book. I have the book in front of me. This is the first book. I'm also in book 11. Look, there's me. I'm forwarding to me for those who are just listening. Yep. It was eye-opening, because then the book comes back and we all share, and we're #1 best-selling authors, and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. If only my high school teacher could see me now.
There you go.
Because even when the editor came back, the editor was like, other than you putting in too many commas, because that's how I speak. So I'm like,
to do that.
Of course. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot that needed to be changed. This was actually really good. I'm like, really? That's not what other people told me. So when I had a chance to do it again for writing for an international magazine and being on the board for an international magazine, I was like, what?
Hell yes.
What? Really? Me, the person who will never be a writer? And yet I was published in almost every edition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Take that, Mrs.
Take
So-and-so.
that. And then, of course, the Blue Talks book 11, which I don't have a physical copy of with me, we became #1 best-selling authors again. And that's because Ken Honda was also a part of the book, and his message is around happiness. I wanted to take my message and my lessons through the 7 times that I almost died and put it into that framework of what is happiness? How does it have to do with courageous connection? What is the connection with relationships between happiness and connection? How do I make my message connect with his, so that I'm amplifying all of the messages that the 2 key people that draw in the book, right?
Yeah.
How can I amplify their message while also sharing mine?
Beautiful.
Yeah. And that for me was the biggest healing moment for the biggest milestone in my life, which was a thing that I just touched on and touched over, which was the 5th time I almost died of it being my choice. What I am going to say was that it was an attempted suicide, but I will leave it there. The details really don't matter. It's the mindset behind why I made that choice. And so in the book, I really explain, like, in that moment, what did it look like? And it was the first time that I had ever failed in my life. I was an honor student, like everything else I could succeed at without even trying. That was the first time I failed. And so in that moment, I was like, whoa, If I can't even do that, what is there? And the key moment there was I surrendered. Whatever life had for me, because I couldn't leave, I had to stay.
I'm grateful that you failed for that failure.
Me too. It's so empowering now to look back on it, but I had to write it out in order to get that healing.
For sure.
And I also like to write. And when I get people to share their stories, I don't just want to know what were the things that happened. No, can you clearly show me your emotions and how you were feeling in that deep, dark moment? Because that's the key that says to the people hiding, I can see your purple fuzzy Care Bear sticky toe socks. You're like, what? It's so specific that you feel seen. Yeah. There's no way that you're hiding. And that's really what we want to pull out in people's stories is if you can be very clear about what was actually happening that is uncomfortable to talk about, that can be very vulnerable. But remember, don't make it about the thing that happened. Make it about the emotion, because that's what people connect to.
That's right.
If you were sexually abused, right? That's a story. But like, how did that sexual abuse make you feel? Because it's our response to what's happening that matters, not what's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So we need to grow from our response.
Love it. Thank you very much for sharing all of that. That is incredible. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
I'm learning to accept this. Accept it, Laura. Accept it, Laura. I have been told many times that just naturally I make people feel comfortable about being themselves. And I really do think it has to do with that ability to look into somebody's eyes and just see them for who they are. So I try my best to treat them as the person that I see behind the masks and armor in the way that I move, in the way that I speak, in the way that I bring up different topics of conversation. They feel that. And without me ever saying, Brad, I accept you for who you are, that's what they're hearing in everything that I do.
They just know it.
Like countless people have told me, Laura, I've told you things I've never told anybody. I don't even know why I did, but wow.
That's a superpower. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it could be strangers. It could be people that I'm close to. I can't tell you the amount of strangers
that
have told me like all of their secrets. Yeah.
Speaking of success, how do you define that word? What does the word success mean to you?
I've been thinking about that word a lot as my heart is starting to feel funny because there's so many facets to success. I don't think of success as I have the cars, I have the house, I have the money, I have all the dream destinations and connections. I think of success as I get to live the way that I want to live in the moment. And that can change every moment of every day. So if I want to go to the store with a bunch of friends and just buy a bag of candy, I can do that without even thinking. There's no overthinking. There's no worrying. There's no thoughts about it. It's just, here's my desire. Go and get it. Do it. So it's bringing down this need for such big courage and big action that it's more ease. It's more flow. It feels good. It feels natural. That's just who I am. It's an identity. To me, that's what success is. So it gets me to express who I am and my values and my desires in the moment without restriction, without tension. And you can also call that abundance, but it's the same thing. It's that satisfaction, that joy. And conversations like this, where I get to spend time with people that I enjoy, fill my cup. So I'm going to go through the rest of this busy day with just so much energy because I get to have a conversation with you and I get to spend time with your audience.
I received that. Thank you.
Yeah.
See,
Thank you.
Receiving. Thank you. I love that. That's powerful. What does the word empowerment mean to you?
We touched on it a couple times. So that whole idea of fear, right? Fear is something that's supposed to help us. Empowerment is knowing that we are being helped from the inside out. Empowering others is knowing that other people have our backs. Empowerment is physiologically this opening up, this like fire within you. Excuse me. It's like your soul is just vertical arm movements of this fire coming up from my belly and just taking over the top of me so that I shine so bright, there's no way you can't see me. There's no way.
You cannot miss you.
You can't. You better get sunglasses because I'm not dimming it. I don't know who said that first, but I love it. The embodiment that I feel when I think of empowerment. I'm supported in the things that I want to do. Have you watched the Marvel movies?
No.
Okay, so one of the last Marvel movies, I think it's called Miss Marvel. There's this new superhero who has these special bracers, and they give her this power of being able to conjure up structure through energy. So she'll start just running up in the air, and she'll conjure these little plates under her feet. That's what I'm thinking about, because I'm totally the nerd, right? The entrepreneur. Yeah. That's what I think about when I think of empowerment is my thought is happening and all of the world and universe around me is coming together to help support that thought and make it happen so that I have this new foundation for my next step, Beautiful thought.
That is a beautiful thought. Mm-hmm. Love it. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section here. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing, okay?
Sure.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Curious.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
To sparkle. No, really, like you see it in my eyes. You get what I mean?
Yep.
Like that kind of passion, yeah.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
Love.
If you're writing your autobiography, what would the title be?
Oh, God. I've still been thinking about this one. I think along the lines of the superhero within.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Love.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Okay, when I read that question, I was like, I don't even think about my physical appearance. The fact that I really do truly love.
Beautiful. That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I threw in a little bonus question that I did not send you. I did not.
Love it.
You're a new addition to the crayon box. What color would you be and why?
I don't know what to call it, but somewhere along the lines of like my lipstick color, it's like a red, for those who can't see, it's like a reddish, purplish, just bold kind of color.
Okay. And why?
Yeah. Because why that it is color? Bold. Remember when we talked about the whole red nail polish being one of my favorites? Yeah. To me, it represents, especially as a lipstick, putting myself out there and being bold and not being afraid. I have a card too, like just so it's closer for people, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Okay.
Like a pinkly purple.
Pinkly
purpley. You made up a new word. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your why?
I share the things that I do because people need to be seen for who they are and not who they portray themselves to be because that's what they think is safe.
That's a beautiful why. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. The vulnerability is just amazing.
Oh, I know. I cry in almost like every one of these because it's a little passionate.
That's all right. That's a good thing. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
The same question I ask everybody else.
Which is?
If something crazy cool could happen to you in the next year, what would you like that to be? Like just snap your fingers, genie in a bottle, wish, like what would you love to have happen?
Okay. Answer your question.
I really would love to have a global festival that ends in a retreat, like a week-long, intensive, so supportive and loving that everybody's going to cry because there's so much love kind of event. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful and powerful.
Maybe we might even do multiple destinations, like travel.
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah. Love it. What is one of your biggest failures and what did you learn from it?
Oh, we talked about that earlier. So one of my biggest failures was my first failure of attempting to leave this world of my own choice. And what I learned from it was I'm the one that has to treat me the way that I want the world to treat me. I need to see me the way the way that I would like the world to see me.
Go back. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. So I need to treat myself the way that I would like the world to treat me. I need to see myself the way that I would like the world to see me. And that ties right in with the way that I start every interview for Blue Talks. It's if you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you like those 3 words to be?
Think about that for a minute, people.
Now we're talking about business on a human level instead of a transactional level.
Love that.
And I'm treating you, Brad, as a human being instead of a means to an end.
Yeah.
With your skills. Yeah.
Love it. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
I even thought about this question a lot. My first thought was Simone Denny from Love Inc., if you know the 90s band. Her most famous song is You're a Superstar. Mm-hmm. It is literally the song that had saved my life from the attempted suicide in grade 9. I just played that song on repeat. And I've been trying to have a conversation with her for the last few years. Every time we meet in a city, we just happen to miss each other, and we had made plans and it just didn't work out. So we're going to try again this summer when I go to Toronto. Right? She knows. So if that's definitely going to happen, then I might say Chalene Johnson. She was one of the few who were on late night infomercials in some of those darkest times. She's got the turbo jam. She's like me. She's all like funny and fun and like bouncy and
energy.
Full of energy. And so I connect with her as a person. I didn't want to buy her DVDs, but then I watched it because I liked her so much that I eventually did buy the DVDs. And eventually she got into teaching business and introducing me to people that showed me that business can be heart-centered and wildly successful at the same time. And so I really want to know, what inspired you to go from exercise DVDs into this version of the person that you are today? Yeah.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
Stop doing all the things that other people want you to do. Remember how we talked about identity and how I lost all of that in 2 months? I never really spent much time on that. So what I would tell myself is learn who you are right now. What do you want? Not what do other people want? What do you want? What makes you sparkle? Then choose other things after that. But I'm really just learning who I am in the last 10 years.
It's a journey. It's a journey for sure. Lastly, Laura, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your corner of the world, your tribe, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
I would really just tell them how much that they're made of love, that people love them, that they're worthy just the way that they are, that they're magical just the way that they are. And if we could lean into that, then just as we said with the fire just coming, let the world see that light because it makes everything so much brighter. Yeah.
Shine bright, baby. Mm-hmm. Let the world see you. Yes.
It's so cheesy. Like people tell me, they're like,
it's true.
You say such cheesy things, but it never sounds cheesy coming out of your mouth. And I'm like, it's because I actually mean it.
Yeah. And believe it.
And completely believe it. Yeah.
Laura, thank you so much. This has been such an incredible, beautiful, thoughtful, inspiring, amazing conversation. You are a beautiful, bright, and shining light. You are that fire in the world. And I am so grateful. We're both learning today.
Breathe it in.
Yes, take it in, receive it. It has been an absolutely beautiful conversation. I am so grateful to be connected to you, to be able to call you a friend, to have you as a member of the Empowerography community, and to know you. I've thoroughly enjoyed every minute of our conversation. You are a bright, beautiful light in this world. Keep shining that bright light.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to you, Brad, for really hounding me for the last couple of years to make this happen. But I also want to say just to your audience, I appreciate you not just for listening to this episode, but listening to all of the other episodes that Brad has, being a part of his community and being a part of a conversation that can be difficult for some people, because the more we talk about these things, the more it becomes common, the more it becomes something that we can learn and grow from because there's a conversation being had and we now have the language to have it.
Absolutely. I always say that conversation is the catalyst for change. If we do not talk about things, They do not change. So let's continue these conversations. Let's have the difficult conversations because they need to be had.
Yeah. So then send this episode or send another of your favorite episodes to a friend and have that conversation about the topic. Yes. See what comes of it. And then let Brad know. Put it in the comments. Write up a review. Like all of the good stuff, give it back. Yeah.
Laura, can you share with everyone where they can connect with you if they want to work with you, if they want to learn more about who you are and what you do?
So my favorite place right now is on Facebook. So you'll find me at facebook.com/Laura Lake Designs, because that's how I started through my architecture background. Yep. And I just didn't change it because it's on all my stuff. And then on Instagram, I've been putting some reels up. I just took the last couple weeks off because of medical appointments. So that's at Laura Lake SD. It stood for Sustainable Design. So SD. And then I'm working my way on LinkedIn. So if you find me, great, but whatever. And I'm not sure if you do like free gifts and everything here, Brad.
Yeah, sure.
But if you do, I can send you a link where
please
I have something called a story session. And every so often, I actually give away a scholarship for the story session. So it's not for everybody doesn't get a free one.
Yeah.
But it's like a 1 hour call where we do talk about your stories. We talk about the emotional thread and we really start to build out who is that person behind the skills? What are the emotions behind the story? And how can we make that a consistent message for you and your audience? So
beautiful.
That's what that's about.
I will put all the links. You'll find all the links, how to connect with Laura, her free gift, into the show notes when we release the episode. Laura, once again, thank you so much for this incredible conversation. I appreciate you, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes. And remind me to connect you with Jenny too. So.
Yes, I will. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Laura Lake. She is a courageous connection coach, a #1 international best-selling author, a mental health advocate, and a speaker. Thank you so much, Laura. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Much love. Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.